This episode of Ism.TV was inspired by Todd in the Shadows. Now I kind of feel like I owe all of you an explanation about where Mr. Saturday Night came from, because I just put out this single for an album that's coming out later on this year. But it was this tweet by Asar that planted the seed, but it was this HBO documentary that inspired me and pushed me to do this record, because in this entire documentary there is not one speck of blackness when one of the most important disco songs of all time was created by who? A black man. This black man, Mr. Van McCoy. Now, I love disco music. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And even though it died a painful death on July 12th, 1979, prompted by an angry disc jockey because his radio station was switching from rock to a disco format, that disco demolition night at Comiskey Park in Chicago was nothing but a bunch of fucking black records being blown up in a baseball field.
50,000 people, the largest crowd of the season, showed up at Chicago's Comiskey Park for the twilight doubleheader between the White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. 15,000 others had to be turned away. Many had come for Disco Demolition Night, a promotional gimmick. Between games, as planned, a huge box containing thousands of disco records was blown up. The rest was unplanned. Fans stormed out onto the field in the thousands. Disco records were hurled like frisbees. Bonfires were set. Bottles were thrown. The batting cage was torn down and destroyed. Fistfights broke out. White Sox players had to be locked in their clubhouse for their own protection. The melee lasted an hour and a half and resulted in 39 arrests and a few minor injuries. The baseball fans missed the second game. It was canceled. The White Sox lost it. It was forfeited to Detroit.
So while they thought they killed disco, they didn't. It just kind of evolved and morphed into house music.
So-called house music was first made in the creators' houses, but it was also performed at clubs called the Warehouse and Powerhouse. However it got its name, it's one of the hottest things going, and as Jay Levine reports, it may only be a matter of time before house musicians become heroes in their own home.
And while we have to give honor to Chicago because that's technically where house music was born, we also need to give honor to Nork, who had its own scene that was just as poppin'.
Has been a sound with a real gospel feel behind it. Most of the people that have been successful in the Jersey Sound have come from the church and have a way of singing from their heart. They're not just singing from their head and reciting lyrics. They're singing something that they believe in 100%. And the lyrics tend to be very full and have a lot of meaning. So not only are they singing from their heart, but the lyrics are actually saying something.
The New Jersey Sound is sweaty, it's smooth. The energy is it's very high-powered, but yet it's a mellow type of energy.
And I have to mention Drake and Beyonce, because without these monumental releases, I'd probably still be depressed. So, thank y'all. See y'all Friday.